Okay, I'm about to start in just a couple of seconds. I am trying to make sure that this is also going to my other page. So hold on just a second while I make sure that I am all straight and good to go as far as this message is concerned. And just wanted to make sure that I did tag the ministry page on this so that they can hear it as well. All right. So I posted yesterday that I had an interesting conversation or an interesting matter that I did want to talk about. And that's what I've decided to do today for what I like to call Wisdom Wednesdays, of course, for the JAL ministry program that I'm the founder and coordinator of. So I'm going to share with you something. My current three, that's something that I refer to as my current three. I don't know, for those of you who maybe purchased my devotional book, you saw me explain it a little bit further, but pretty much on this journey with God and I, a lot of times he'll show me something three times and it's up to me to figure out why he is showing it to me. It's almost like our little riddle, so to speak. And different scriptures or passages or stories from the Bible, he'll show me, and in some way it would apply to me once I would figure it out. Then it became something that was about to happen to me. He would show me something about three times, almost preparing me for something that he was about to have me endure, something that I was about to walk through. Once I finally realized here recently that ministry is where I'm supposed to be, I ran from doing these videos and things for the longest time because I'm not comfortable in front of a camera, or I don't like speaking or really being in the public eye, but I wanted to allow him to use me. So that's what I did. So here recently now what he does is he will show me something three different times and letting me know this is something that he wants me to speak on and to talk about. So it's going to be weird, but bear with me. Good morning to everyone. Mallory, Melissa, hey, Sally, love you, miss you. Amanda, I promise this is all going to make sense. This past Monday, literally, God showed me poop several times. And being a kid, or being a mother of young kids, that is the word that I'm going to use, is poop. But yes, so he showed me that on an Instagram post earlier in the day. There was a picture literally of poop. It was like a funny meme showing it was an image of someone's food that didn't really look that great. But then again, he showed me another diagram of what healthy poop should look like. Like all the different types of stools or whatever, just healthy kinds, and what our bodies, it tells us a lot about the things that we have coming from us. Before taking a nap on Monday, God literally there was an image in my head, and I'm sorry this is going to sound weird, but it was literally poop or fecal matter that was in between human bones. It was like major human bones, and it was lodged together like glue. So I don't want to give you a science lesson, but let me just say this. Okay, let's talk about poop. It is 75% water. The rest of it is dead bacteria and waste. It's leftovers. It's things that do not belong in our body anymore. It's things that we're supposed to get rid of. Feces are like the solid or the semi-solid remains of the food that could not be digested in the small intestine. It's things that are unneeded, unnecessary, and again, these things do not belong. Now let's look at our bones, because like I said in the last image that God showed me, we know that our bones are necessary. They're needed for daily operation of our bodies. It's how we get going. It's how we move, get physical, walk, grab, work, etc. So the last image of the matter that was lodged in between the bones, it gave me a clear indication of what it was that God wanted me to share. Many of us are using waste, foolery, and nonsense while trying to hold together important things. We are trying to use toxic waste to build foundations, and it's impossible. They make for crappy situations, and pun is intended as far as that's concerned. Waste and leftovers They can't be used for new things. And there are certain things that we need to learn to let go in our lives. You want your marriage to go into a new phase, but you're holding on to things like a child that need to let go. You need to let the past and the waste slip away. You can't expect growth, only stagnation, and really even a foul stench if you're holding on to these things, but you're trying to build a new foundation. It's not possible. You want that new business to get off the ground, but again, that even is built on a shaky foundation, and it's why it hasn't happened yet. You have to look at the way that you're doing things and the way that you are building things in order for that business or whatever it is to actually take off. That ministry that you might be trying to launch, you might have bad principles to begin with. And that's why it hasn't happened yet and it hasn't taken off. For those who might be desiring marriage, love, and or a relationship, that is fine. A lot of those desires, God puts those things inside of us. You know, as I always say, Psalm 37:4, he'll give us the desires of our heart. What we have to keep in mind is you can't simply say, oh, I want this and I'm desiring this, so God's going to give it to me. No, what God does is he places those desires inside of you. He whispers those desires over and over and over again. And then eventually you actually become obedient and you start walking like you know that it's going to happen. And you start doing everything that you have to do to actually obtain that desire. And then what? You receive the desires of your heart. So it's really Jesus being kind of sneaky, but he gave you that desire all along. So for those who are desiring marriage and everything, there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to check your motives and your reasons for wanting it. Because if you're building it on bad motives and the wrong foundation, that relationship will be toxic. I don't know what it is that you might be desiring, but my question would be, what are you building on? And what is your foundation? Because see, the bones are important and they are vital and they serve a very good purpose. But with crappy things lodged in between, acting as false glue, important things will fall apart at some point. That stuff can only build a foundation, but for so long. I don't know what your glue is, but for me, I depend on Jesus Christ for everything. And, you know, in Matthew 7:24, it tells us, therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and actually puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. That's an excellent foundation for you to build anything on. Your marriage, your business, your ministry, raising your kids, taking it to that job, everything, whatever it is. I remember I posted earlier this week, I believe I was talking about many that are tired because they're doing things that they weren't even called to do. You are driving yourself crazy, and running yourself ragged because you are trying to force something that you're not even supposed to be doing. And that happens a lot when God didn't tell you to be with that person. He didn't tell you to enter into that relationship, to walk with that person. He didn't tell you to start that business. He didn't tell you to take that job. He didn't tell you to move to that place. You know, whatever it is, things are rough and you're trying to figure out why. And it's because you're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. And I'm not really coming down on anybody because I've been there. I've tried to force jobs that I was not supposed to be at. I've tried to force relationships I was not supposed to be in. I stuck in a relationship for 10 years and actually was praying repeatedly, God bless us, God fix us, God restore us, God, you know, do this, that, and the third. But it didn't happen because I was not supposed to be in that relationship. And I'm so glad that we serve a God who will wreck our plans before they wreck us, and he'll get in the way. And that is why sometimes our prayers go unanswered, because he is protecting us from something and we see it as rejection, but it's really all his protection. And I'm so glad that I didn't, you know, get married when I thought I was ready. And a lot of things I'm thankful that he did allow me to go through because it's those stepping stones and it's things that I learned from. But bad motives, you know, they take us in the wrong direction if we don't have guidance. So when we're not seeking him first, we invite him in, ask him to help us, and he will do that. Seek God before making any move. Go when he says go, and only when he says go. Because with his guidance and with the right foundation, you will succeed and you will prosper. That scripture that I just gave in Matthew 7:24, right there after it, Matthew 7:25, it says, the rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall. Why? Because it had its foundation on the rock. It had its foundation on the proper rock, the rock of Jesus Christ. So that's why there was nothing that could shake that foundation. There was nothing that can happen to that foundation because it was built on the foundation that it was supposed to be built on. I love Isaiah 58:11. It says, where God guides, he provides. Let him guide you. He's not leading you anywhere that he is not going to make a way. Whether, again, it's a relationship, whether it's a marriage, a job, a business, he is not leading you anywhere that he is not preparing for you. Because again, we have to remember, he prepares the path, but it's for us to actually take that path and to get there. If you started off wrong, I can guarantee you it is never too late to fix anything. You cannot possibly blow his plans for your life. You are precious, you are beautiful, you are awesome, and you are amazing, but you are not that powerful where you are able to blow any plan that he has for your life. Because yeah, he has one direction that he wants us to go in, but we, being foolish and thinking that we know everything, we'll go all over the place trying to figure out why things aren't working. And he's over there waiting for us to get it together because he still has a plan. He still has a purpose. And no matter what route and direction we go, he is not going to wreck his reputation on our foolery, on our toxic waste, on our bad decisions. He is going to get the victory no matter what. We are not that powerful where we can get in the way of anything that he is actually trying to do. So again, whatever it is that you are facing today, whatever that you think you messed up, know this. All you have to do is call on him. Because see, he is a God of restoration. Joel 2:25 even says that. The things that were taken from us, the things that he allowed to be taken from us, the things that other took, it doesn't matter. He says, I can restore all of that. And if you call on him and just say, Abba, Father, help me, come into my marriage, come into my household, come into my creative mind, give me guidance. We have to know that he is just and he cares for us. Anything you ask, he will surely provide it. And if you're thinking of making a move and you haven't yet, good for you, because you haven't done it yet. So that means you have time to pray and you have time to ask him for guidance, for wisdom, and for clarity, because we know that our gracious God, he is not going to chastise you for asking. James 1:5 even tells us, anyone is deficient in wisdom, ask God. He gives to everyone who will ask generously and without reprimand, and it will be given to you. All you have to do is ask him for wisdom and clarity, and he will surely give it to you. So I hope this all made sense. But, I just thank you all for tuning in. I had to share this because when it was coming to me and I just was trying to figure, okay, God, what am I supposed to do with this and with the poop or whatever. But again, it is because God is saying, be mindful of these foundations that you're trying to build on. If you start off in a crappy foundation, you're going to have a crappy situation and you're going to go on being frustrated, asking God, why aren't you helping me? God, why aren't you fixing this? God, why aren't you stepping in? And God is saying, because you never invited me in. You want me to fix that marriage that you never even consulted with me about marrying that person. Now, yeah, I can still turn things around and I can still restore it, but you never invited me in to begin with. So now let me show you the plans and how we're going to now work this out. You're saying, God, help me. Like, this job is frustrating me and I don't want to be here and whatever, which let's be thankful for anything anyway. But again, he could be saying, okay, I never told you to take that job. You didn't consult with me. I had something much better for you. We do it all the time. I've done it all the time. But I'm going to walk off from here and I'm hoping that we are all going to maybe even make some better decisions, even look at poop in a different way. I don't know. I can't wait to tell my kids that's what I talked about. They already think I'm weird anyway. But just be mindful of the foundations that you're building, but be mindful also of which materials that you are using. The glue that you are using is very, very important. So invite him in and build everything on the foundation of Christ, and you will never have to worry about anything crumbling. I don't care what it is. Nothing is going to crumble when you have him at the foundation. Doesn't mean that things won't get a little bit rough, but he's going to hold it on together. He's a God who, even the winds and the waves obey him. So we know that it doesn't matter how things look. Once he is in the midst of it, once it is built on his foundation, it cannot crumble. So you all keep that in mind. I love you all. God bless. Thank you all for tuning in. And I just pray that y'all have a blessed day. And I pray that everyone who listened to this was able to actually hear and take something from it. So God bless you all.